I've been a bit foolish. In an earlier video, you saw that there were some spacers behind this shift bracket that I removed because I didn't like the way they looked. Well, as soon as I rode the bike after doing that, I figured out exactly why those were there. Turns out, in its stock location, the shift linkage kind of interferes a bit with the kickstand. And the reason for this is because of a fairly well-known fault with these Ducatis. You see, a lot of the time, I believe that from the factory these had like an auto retract mechanism on the kickstand, and if that didn't work and you were expecting it to, it would actually snap off this bracket from the engine casing, and there was no way to bolt it back on. As you can see here, someone has made a bracket. I believe it was the previous owner before the Wizard built this bracket to hold it, but that ends up moving it to kind of a non-standard location, and it interferes with the shifter. So in the interest of being able to pull the shift lever up, I guess I'll just put those spacers back on. Yeah, I think that's the torque spec. That's much better. I can actually reach the lever now. So one other thing that I noticed when I was riding this around is that this needs to go down just a little bit more. I kind of have to flex my ankle just a little bit too much to pull up on the lever. So we're going to take this back off. We're just going to move it one tooth clockwise if we can. So I've got to go figure out what on earth that socket is. I'm sorry, that's not a socket, it's a Allen key. What? Oh, that's kind of cool. Ah, perfect. 4 millimeters. Oops. I do wonder if there is some sort of puller to do this properly. Probably is. There we go. Okay. So it was pointing up about like that. I'll go one tooth. Let's just smash that subscribe button right back on there. Just slide our retaining bolt right back in. Moving slightly up the rear of the bike, I'm readjusting the passenger peg situation. Here is one of the bolts that came out of the passenger pegs. It's about an inch long. So I went to Ace Hardware and I bought 4 of these, much longer shank. Hang on, there we go. About 3-inch long. I believe it was an M8 1 by however long. And then these 1-inch stainless steel spacers. Just go right on there like that. And the resulting shank is fairly similar in length to what I took off of there. So the way this all goes together, and I totally just kind of, I didn't take any measurements when I went to the hardware store. I just kind of stood there going, and then just bought some stuff that looked like it would work, and I got very, very lucky. Take measurements, like your life will just be easier. So let's just stick all that together. Pieces of chrome are coming, oh, no. Oh, okay, hang on, you need 7 hands to do this apparently. All right. Click. Cool. And as you can see, I got very lucky. That is perfect. There's just a millimeter of clearance. Oh, hang on, move the camera a bit. A millimeter of clearance between the can and the passenger peg, and it flips down and sits perfectly level, and I am absolutely thrilled with this. Unfortunately, my wife works today, so I'm not gonna be able to actually test it and take her on a ride, but I am just absolutely thrilled with how that came out. I mean, you can't really tell those are there unless you're looking for them. Look at that. Passenger pegs with Forza exhaust on Ducati 900 SS. A lot of people will question why on earth you have a racing exhaust if you want to carry a passenger. And to those people I say, let me live my life. I do what I want. Of course, this video is entitled Doing More Fixing to My Ducati. I'm actually waiting for a message back from Ed, and I guess we're going to LKQ for a few Beetle parts. So that should be a good bit of junkyard adventures, and I thought might as well take the Ducati. It's about a 20-25 mile ride. Should be a pretty good time.
Hi, Ed.
Hey, Jake.
What are we doing?
Well, my book. Oh, furf. Well, that worked.
Aren't wheel bolts the best?
Hey, stupid Germans.
Ooh, the shock is blue.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's OEM?
I think some of the Beetle stuff, depending on the model, it may be just aftermarket replacement, or I think some of them had Bilsteins or something like that on them.
Huh.
I only know broken down Mitsubishi's, not fine German engineering.
So we're spending the day rolling around in the mud underneath this 2000 Volkswagen Beetle Turbo because of that rear axle there. If you're familiar with Volkswagen Beetles or Golfs or anything that uses this rear suspension setup, you know that if they get tweaked, you're kind of hosed on an alignment. Camber, casters, all just set. You can't adjust any of that. So when something gets bent here, you're replacing the whole assembly. So we're here trying to get a hopefully non-tweaked assembly off of this Beetle Turbo, and it's quite fortuitous that we found the turbo model here because Ed believes, they've got like I wonder if I can see it here. They've got like an integrated sway bar. I mean, it's one of these goofy solid axle trailing arm things. The stiffness on the turbo sport models is a bit higher than the normal plebeian models, so pretty cool that we can hopefully get the same thing and it won't be a handling downgrade. Of course, like every Beetle of this generation, the interior is just, I mean, it probably looked like this before it came to LKQ. Stick though. I can't tell if it's still hooked up to anything or not. I mean, that just feels like stock. It has a full set of these wheels. I kind of like these. Kind of a neat design. It's a lot muddier than I expected. I'm gonna have to clean my shoes after this. I wore way too nice of clothes for this.
God bless America, you piece of garbage. What the f*** over?
Having fun?
Define fun.
Definitely sport model.
What the...
Milwaukee, please send help. We just have hand tools. Oh, Ed's becoming one with the car. That's great. Nissan Cube. This is one of the closer things that the U.S. ever got to a K car. Let's see if I can get in here, because my favorite thing about these cars, check out that headliner. It's so cool. It's like a puddle of water after you drop a droplet into it, and it's got this kind of neat wavy dash design. Oh, it smells real bad in there. Look at that mold. Okay, I just got all the diseases. Oh wow, it's a Nissan 200SX. So that'll be a SR20, I believe. Looks a lot like an SR20. I don't know Nissans all that well. I mean, I owned that B13 Sentra, which had an SR20, but it's been a minute. But I believe that's what the 200 means, is twin cam 2 liter. This smells like an SR20. What's going on in here? Dang, these seats are in decent shape. Neat little houndstooth cloth. Wow, I've never seen a 200SX in person before. I wish it was still this original color, because that's a super cool color. Poor thing. BMW 330ci convertible. What do we think the story is here? Man, that is mangled. At least you can tell what color it was. I'm gonna guess alcohol was involved here. Oh boy. When you can't afford a B-series swap, so you just paint your D16's valve cover red. Oh hey, Gallant. Dang, this is like the third of this generation Celica I've seen in the junkyard today, and it's a little depressing. I don't see these very often, and it looks like the reason is because everybody's wrecking them. What a shame. Paging John Ross. John Ross to the courtesy desk, please. The problem with owning an IS300 that needs front-end parts is that every IS300 needs front-end parts. Yikes. Man, this person had apparently never heard of changing your camshaft seals. My gosh, there's like a 1/4-inch thick layer of goo on the front end of that. Also, look at this nasty OEM manifolds on these things. 2 pre-cats, and then there's another cat down there. I mean, I'm not much for cat deletion, but I wouldn't mind putting an aftermarket header on mine. And that's just some nonsense. I'm not. Volkswagen Rutan did a heckin' bamboozled absolutely everybody that bought it expecting Volkswagen unreliability and instead got Chrysler unreliability. Vans. The characteristic cute face of the Dodge Neon looks a bit more like an eldritch nightmare when it's missing. Headlights go up, and then they stay there. God, those wheels are rad. Oh man, the interior of this Accord is amazing. Wow. Oh, it's got four horn buttons, cruise control. Oh man. Oh, it's so good. Whoa. Oh, the vents are mechanical over there. That is, oh, this is way cool. Automatic though, but oh man. Oh, it's also 90s. Look at that. It's a cassette. It's got a cassette holder in it. Built-in integrated cassette holder. Doesn't look like the lid exists anymore. What do we got in the glove box? Nothing. Oh man, look at this fabric. The super wide dash. Ugh. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry, Honda Accord, that you ended up here. What a wonderful little car. Long live golf. Yeah, okay. Uh-oh. Eagle Talon TSI. Where's Ed at? He's gonna want to see this. What do we have here? Automatic. No gauge cluster. Hood shut, probably because it's jammed. Oh, almost fell over. Not much really worth pulling off of that. Thanks. I hate it. I love this though. Poor Toyota. What a deep red. I love it.
I've got a better idea of how the damn thing comes apart, but Volkswagen, yeah.
Volkswagen's defeated us?
Well, here's the thing. I'm used to working on Mitsubishis, and Mitsubishis have a very certain range of tools that you use. The Germans, well, instead of the even number millimeter sizes, let's say, let's go with the odd number millimeter sizes, which unfortunately I don't really have with me.
Let's see here. Because what we have here is 13, 14, 15, 17. There's a glaring error in this rack of sockets here. And what size is that guy there on the bottom of that shock we got to get off?
Well, 3 guesses which one it is, and the first 2 don't count, but you could say it's a 16 mil.
Oh, it's the one that we don't have. Cool. Could we just unbolt the shock from the tower instead?
Yeah, but then I still got to. Then they're gonna want me to pay for the shock. I was gonna strip this bad boy down as far as I could.
What about the big joint there?
Oh, that's already off.
Pivots. Oh, it is?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I had the tool for that.
Okay, I figured that was going to be like an enormous thing that's torqued to a zillion foot-pounds.
So did I. Surprisingly, it came off fairly easy. What's not coming off easy is the rear caliper bracket and the rear shock mount on the swing arm.
Yeah, because you actually broke your 3/4 inch drive ratchet there, didn't you?
My original made in the USA one from Sears.
Dang,
Back in
just
the
don't
day.
make them like they used to, do they? Well, I guess that is one that they used to make, isn't it? Grrr. Gosh, that's adorable. The Germans have defeated us for now. Oh no. Okay, I'm not gonna just stand and laugh at this. I'll help.
No, go ahead. I would do the same thing.
A little bit of a junkyard fashion pro tip. If you get shoes with gum soles, you can't tell when they're muddy because it's just the same color. Mud sole. So we didn't win the back axle of a Volkswagen, but we did win a mass airflow sensor and a K&N filter for that Eclipse that I found earlier. Talon. Oh, he's mad at me about that.
like a big flapper paddle, and it's like I don't know, chunky. You know, it's just like.
Look how rugged we are.
I mean, but no, this thing's flimsy, man.
Yeah, look how rugged we are. Squeak.
Yeah.
I am here for this upholstery though.
Ooh.
Look at that. I bet that looks real cool when it's not all just dust. Look at the seat design. That's neat.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
like you said.
and this is the model with the, you know, the plastics aren't painted. Actually, these were, oh, this didn't come factory like this. Someone just literally painted the plastic cladding. This is an earlier model that's been
Repainted.
yeah.
Nice. I like the grab handle.
Creak.
It's got a recirculating. It's got a little ball and
Yeah.
pitches up.
Does
and
it?
down.
Does this twist to turn it on off? Whoa! Look at that! Look at that action! I love it. That's unnecessarily mechanical, and I love it. Kind of want to take it home. It's like 52 and sunny at this point. I think this thing needs to go away. It's Ducati time. Or maybe not. That's all fuel. So I turned off the fuel there, but it looks like there's still yep, still dripping out of there. Crap, I actually don't really know what to do about this. I knocked on the bowls to try and jiggle loose whatever's there. I'm almost tempted to just take it outside and start it up and see if the vibrations will, getting some fuel flowing through it will get the debris out of the way. Problem is, I don't want fuel in the oil, so, crap. Okay, well, I pushed it out here and started it, and it appears to not be leaking. No more drips. I think what I might do is stop by O'Reilly's or something and put some seafoam in there. Try and clear out any little bit of crap that got into the float needle, maybe dissolve it. I mean, it's probably a piece of dirt though, and that won't really dissolve it much, but I guess I'll let it run for a little while, then shut it off and see if it starts leaking again. How do you even clean up a gas spill like this? And I guess I've got some rags, but then I just have fuel-soaked rags. I guess I have a burn barrel. Could put them in there. I hope this doesn't mess up my floor. Appears to be good. All right, time to go on a ride and hope that we don't have any more issues. As with pretty much any Italian vehicle, it turned out the solution was to ride it. I guess that just sucked through whatever was making the valve stick. But it's all good now. Rode great. This thing is an absolute highway monster. And not too bad on dirt, as it turns out. So we're back at Ed's. And we got the full empire of dirt here. There's the turbo Beetle we were trying to get an axle for and failed. But I think he's going to go back later, right? Get a 16 and try again?
Yeah. I've done a little stuff to it. I pulled the ECU out, cleaned up the interior as best as I could.
Y'all probably remember this. This is from a past video. It actually did fairly well on YouTube, by the way. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, the video with this thing did great. I didn't expect it to. But yeah, we went up and drug this thing back out of some dude's backyard. There's a lot more room to work in here when everything is missing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can say that.
Oh man, that is dirty.
Yep.
Gosh.
Plan is to, once it warms up a little bit, or once the tidal situation sorts itself out, depending on what the tidal situation is, I may end up parting it out or putting it back together. If I do put it back together, I got to replace the entire wiring harness, which I have over there in one of those plastic tubs.
Yeah. You know, some over fenders would help with that.
Yeah, this is a good candidate for, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Wide body?
Yeah.
Honestly, though, that'd be pretty cool, you know, if we could get the title sorted out, just making this thing kind of ball on a budget. Get some higher offset wheels or some crazy spacers. And
Which I happen to have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, under the category of things that actually work. the C30, the European Focus ST hatch with complete with drift stitching. You know, it's actually not half bad. That's some decent stitching. These are cool. I do like these Volvos, especially this blue, which really highlights the dent here. So from trash over there to treasure over here, we have the actual Stealth, and just look at this engine bay. It's looking great. You polished this yourself, or did you buy it like that?
That one I bought polished. The back valve cover is polished that I did myself.
Oh, really?
Which was kind of a wasted effort because you really can't see it.
There's a little bit of it right there.
My OCD wouldn't let me just put a painted valve cover back there, so when the front one was polished, so I just went ahead and did it.
And the intake is done really nice too. Did you do that or?
No, local shop J&C Powder Coating did that for me.
Ooh, so it's not rattle can. That's done proper. Nice. And is this a eBay special over here?
Nope, that's actually DMP was a manufacturer of 3000 GT and Stealth parts from back in the day, and I got that from a guy up in Olathe who was parting out, selling some parts, and he was like, "Here, take this." I go, "Okay." And it's a very well-made stainless steel piece, and compared to this, oops. Yeah.
Oh, look, there I go breaking things again.
This, however, is eBay stuff. Check this out. There's some fine quality welds in there.
Ooh, look at, hang on, focus. There we go. Yeah.
This is what $40 will get you on eBay.
Man, I bet the airflow is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Those aren't poor welds. That's vortex generation up in there.
Yeah.
And the inside of this thing is just as nice as the engine bay, except that it's taken apart right now. But reupholstered seats of like really nice quality leather in the front and back. I think I showed this in the previous video about these cars, but it was nighttime, so you couldn't see it as well. But it's just everything in here is in really good shape.
Except for the defroster vents.
Except for the defroster vents, but that's all of them. Pioneer head unit. It's got a aftermarket shifter, right?
Yep.
Is it a short shifter or?
Yeah, it's a 3SX bearing loaded short shifter, which the throws are stupidly short. It takes a little getting used to when you're driving it, because it's like if you drive something that doesn't have as short of a throw, then you get into this thing, you're like, what's wrong?
It is short. It is precise though.
Yeah.
Paint could use a little bit of love there.
Yeah.
Some swirls. That shouldn't be a problem though. And when you get to that stage in a project, that's a good place to be when all you have to worry about is swirls in your paint. So I'm sure y'all remember in the last video, there was a very persistent noise in the background, and that was Sophie here. And what is she again?
We think German Pointer and Basset Hound mix.
It's just a German Pointer with stubby legs.
I call her, she's a stanced and lowered pointer.
This is the star of the video. Screw all the cars. This is the real talent here.
Well, don't tell her that. She's already insufferable enough. Come here, you. Come on.
So the story with her is that she's actually chipped, and we tried to get a hold of you tried to get a hold of the owners, but they didn't seem to want her back.
Yeah, which is a shame. They need to be kicked in the head and dragged to the streets for that.
Yeah.
Dog is very cool. She's sweet, mostly well behaved.
Yeah, Dog and Mighty Max. Also known as a Dodge D100, another one of your rebadged
D50.
D50, right. Smells like
cheap air freshener.
Sure does. Manual, carbureted, little 4-cylinder truck.
And believe it or not, I do have plans for this. It's not just going to be a permanent lawn ornament. She's going to get some stuff done to her. I just haven't had the time or money.
So this wasn't carbed from the factory, was it?
It was. It had what it was called, Mitsubishi called it a feedback carburetor, which had a bunch of sensors and vacuum lines and stuff like that. And it has an ECU, which read all the data from the sensors and the various devices on the carburetor. Problem is those carburetors go bad fairly easily, and getting parts for them is problematic. So the common solution when a factory carb goes bad is just to throw a Weber progressive carb on it, which is what this thing has. But the plan is to pull this engine out, clean it up, reduce all the wiring in the engine bay, get rid of all the electronic stuff, simplify it, put it back together, and make the engine bay real pretty. Drive it around like this for a while. But I do have a 6-bolt 4G63 from an Eclipse or a Talon sitting in my garage that just happens to bolt up to this transmission. So there could be further stupidity and shenanigans in the future.
Oh, of course, always.
But I do want to lower it with drop spindles and blocks, and just clean up the interior and just drive it around for a little bit. So like Jake said, it's a mini truck. I love old mini trucks. Whoa! She has knocked me down before. Sophie!
Just kept going.
Yep.
Found something she likes more. Hey!
Knock it off. Get away from there. What are you doing? Seriously?
All right, well, the sun's going to start getting low here soon, so the Ducati's running for now, and it's a nice day out, so I'm going to go get some riding in. Ed, see you later.
Later, man.
And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of his stuff, my stuff, any stuff like that. There's going to be, as it gets nicer out, although it's gorgeous right now, you could expect to probably see us working on that thing, or that thing, or that thing, or this thing, or probably not that. That doesn't really need anything.
Hopefully not.
I just realized I was pointing at you. That thing definitely
Well, I need lots of work.
needs lots of work, yeah. This thing, yeah. No, it's kind of hopeless at this point. I'm gonna go beat the crap out of this as you do. Give it the old Italian tune-up. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching.